guys, Tomboy61, and today we have a review of the Siroco, the kind of consolation prize of this update. If you buy the Admiralty backing, tier 4 destroyer from the French. It is very, very French and a little bit difficult to play. We're going to go ahead and go over the details on it. That's the commander, that's the consumables, that's the mod slots, then talk through the stats and show off a game in it. So if you're interested in that, make sure you stick around. So first things first, let's go ahead and talk through the commander. I'm using Philippe Abignou, the torpedo kind of commander for this ship, and that's kind of how you want to use Siroco as a bit of a torp boat. Now, we do have a kind of unique kind of setup for it, because if you went full torp boat, you'd be on a bit of a struggle bus. So first things first, his base trait is going to increase the destroyer's HE shell damage. Then we're going to be running Eric Bay and Vincent Mordoff. Bay to help with concealment and Mordoff to help with the guns. We're going for a bit of a hybrid build, and we'll see that further in the skills. Now, usually I'd run Subsurface Venture on him, but because of the huge penalty to the reload time of the guns for running Subsurface Venture, I've gone ahead and decided to run Contact is Imminent, because the AA is not worth buffing with no fly zone. Then we're going Go All Out to have a bit of an ace in the hole. We'll show that off a little bit later. Then Torpedo Safari to boost the range on the torps. Then Destroy or Be Destroyed to help with the maximum speed of the vessel. And then Give Me Speed, which is going to boost the maximum speed when you're within a certain distance. But more importantly, it's going to decrease the reload time on the engine boost and give you an additional one, and boost the duration, which ties in with Go All Out, because of course Go All Out has the benefit of reducing your detectability when the engine boost is active. So those two working together in sort of a combination, a conjunction, that really helps assist this boat. As far as the mod slots go, let's go ahead and go over that. Only one mod slot. We're running Aiming System Mod 1. I think you could make an argument for Main Battery Mod 2 if you're really struggling with the rotation time on the turrets, but you do take that 5-second or 5% increase in reload time, and you don't want to do that in this vessel. It is already going to struggle enough holding its own with its guns. As far as its consumables go, you do get 3. The first one is the bog standard damage control party. It's going to last for 5 seconds, and it's going to reload after 40 seconds. Then you have the main battery reload booster. It's going to decrease your reload time by 50%. It's going to last 15 seconds, and you're going to take 150 seconds to reload it. Sadly, you do only get 1 charge of this. Then there's the engine boost. With all of our buffs with this commander, 20% increase in top speed, 132 second duration, 252 second reload time, and we're going to get 3 charges of it. So that is all of those. Now let's go ahead and head on into the stats. So Siroco, it's going to have 11,900 hit points with an armor thickness between 3 and 10 millimeters. We can go ahead and go on over to the armor view. Nothing really to show for it. It has 10 millimeters of armor everywhere on the ship. So don't think you're going to be standing up too much in this vessel. Beyond that, yeah, you get 10 millimeters pretty much all around on both the bow and the deck, and I'm sure you can infer there is no torpedo reduction with this vessel. Main battery of the ship, you're going to get 4 one-barreled 130 millimeter guns with a firing range of 9.3 kilometers and a reload time of 7.6 seconds, giving you 31 shells per minute. 180 time on those guns, 18 seconds. HE damage is going to be 1,981, giving you a DPM of 61,411 with a 9% chance to set fire. These aren't the best guns in the game, by a fairly large margin, and you will definitely need to sort of rely on them, especially in the lower tiers. AP damage 2,300 with a DPM of 71,300. The vessel does not have any secondaries, and then what I would consider to be more the main armament of this vessel is its 2 3-barreled 550 millimeter torpedoes. They're going to have a reload time of 75 seconds and do 16,000 damage. They hit very, very hard with a detectability range of 1.2 kilometers and a speed of 62 knots. They'll have a range of 7.8 kilometers. Next, we'll move on to anti-aircraft. Now, very tiny AA range, which can be a benefit because that means your ship won't be spotted by firing the AA, which is going to be very key to your survival because, of course, you don't have smoke. And if you've played the Tier 3, Tier 4s lately, you know it's very hard to get a full match because everyone's playing the new UK aircraft carriers. So this can be a bit of a benefit. I'm going to consider this a plus side for now. The minimum damage these things are going to do is 3. Yeah, no, you pretty much, it would almost be better not to have them at all. And the max damage of the AA, 10. 10 damage per second. You're not going to be shooting down a plane anytime soon. Your best bet is try not to be spotted, which makes some of these games pretty difficult given the current predicament of matchmaking. Top speed of the vessel, 34.3 knots. With a rudder shift time of 3 seconds, which is very maneuverable. You can absolutely make the tail dance on this thing and avoid some incoming fire. And then the turning radius is going to be 550 meters. Finally, the concealment detectability by sea is 5.4 kilometers. Detectability by air is 2.8 kilometers. And detectability when is in smoke is going to be 2.3 kilometers. So those are the stats of the vessel. Next, let's go ahead and take a look at a match in the ship. We're going to transfer over to an epicenter match because it's nice, it's short, it's sweet, and yeah, we'll go ahead and take a look at that now. So here we are on our, what I'm going to call a short-staffed and non-full match of epicenter. Of course, we kind of talked about that a little bit earlier. The current state of matchmaking is that with the release of the British CVs and those being limited to 1 per match, it means the Tier 3, Tier 4 kind of matches are pretty much guaranteed not to be filled because so many players are trying to get through the new British CVs. So we're kind of in a worst case scenario for showing off the Siroco just because, as we talked about earlier, not really the best kind of conditions because, well, we don't have smoke to counter what is certainly always going to be a CV-filled match, and it's not like we have the AA to really swat off the said CVs. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and take the right-hand side of the circle. We spawned over on this side, and we want to be able to spread out. We see Dyne is off, out, kind of just pushing through the middle. We're going to fire off some AP at first. We do have a relatively short range because of the build, so we do kind of have to keep that in mind. But this does work to our advantage because it lets us kind of cordon off and engage people when they're just at that maximum range, and it is very effective. We then see a good old T-22 popping off on the other side of the island. We can see he's capturing the middle ring, and of course we want to sort of stop that. Epicenter, of course, is 3 concentric capture circles, and we don't have anyone in the middle ring, so he has a fairly good chance of capturing it, but we can see he's turning in. Probably doesn't expect us to come around the corner right here, and he certainly didn't. We're going to go ahead and fire off our guns, pop our reload booster. That's going to reduce our reload down to 3 seconds, but we take just way too long engaging these torps, but we are definitely able to do it. Now, we've done that, and we now get to use our little trick of the trade. Our usual detectability is in that 5.5 kilometer range. We're going to go dark, stop firing, and pop our engine boost. When we do that, we're actually going to drop our concealment down to 4.4 kilometers. There we go. I think we just actually naturally dropped sight of the Brittany, but we now have 2 minutes of 4.4 kilometer detection, which means we can go ahead and push with pretty good impunity into the center of the circle. We can see that the center, that the middle ring is still being contested by the enemy, but the center ring isn't. So if we can get in there, we can go ahead and start getting our team some points. Thankfully, we do hit the Brittany for 2 torpedoes right there. Start a flood. He does repair it, though. Dyne pops up, and this is the nice thing about the relative short range on Siroco is we're floating in the middle. We are well within what should be a spot distance of a bunch of ships, but because of the way the islands are and because of our relatively short range, we can go ahead and kind of engage this Dyna with impunity, which is kind of nice. Now, we are getting up into about to capture this middle point. That smoke has been there for a while, right? We remember it being popped when we were starting to go around the island. We can see Farragut has been sitting in his smoke, and he is now kind of easy pickings for everyone else. The one thing I do have to say with Siroco is without that reload booster, these guns are very slow. You can do really good damage with them. If you get all 4 on target, you can do about 1,200 damage a salvo on other destroyers. But the problem is, if you miss any of those rounds, and these guns do tend to kind of miss either high or low, you end up not really you end up not doing that damage, and every single shot counts in the Siroco. That's part of the reason why we took off Subsurface Ventures, because with the boosted 10% reduction in reload time, or 10%, the added 10% of reload time, it was absolutely killing me in the rest of the battles, where if I got discovered, it was pretty much game over. And the bad thing about Siroco is the way it's set up is if you don't have those guns, you're pretty much just a kamikaze with worse torps. Yes, your torps do more damage, but they take a lot longer to reload. You do about 20,000 extra damage per minute with the guns, which is about a third more damage per minute. So I kind of think of this as a primary torp boat that you can absolutely use to devastate the enemy, that has a little bit better guns to lean on, but you absolutely need to hit your torps if you are going to go in for those close hits. And yeah, overall, Siroco hasn't been my favorite one to play, but I think that may just come down to the fact that I'm playing it in what is probably the worst conditions imaginable. One where I'm not in a very target-rich environment, because there aren't very many ships on the enemy team, and one of those ships being an aircraft carrier. So I think that's one of the reasons I've sort of been struggling in Siroco, and I'll be interested to see once I'm going to call it hype around the UK aircraft carriers dies down and we get much more normal distribution of matches, how this ship performs, because it has definitely been more fun in the non-aircraft carrier matches, and it's a ship that it doesn't beat out it does not beat out Kamikaze to me as far as a tier 4 premium destroyer, but I think I'd be more likely to take Siroco out than, say, out Hakmek. So that's kind of where it is for me. Anyways, Hermes, now within our torpedo range, we turn in, maybe just eat those torps so that our torps hit Hermes rather than it, and Omaha is somewhat broadside to us. So we're going to go ahead and engage Omaha with the AP. Earlier, I was able to get a couple of juicy citadels on an Omaha. Mind you, it was a lot closer, but we're going to try to replicate that, because if we can get those citadels, well, we know how paper-thin Omaha's armor is. We do take a small hit from the British CV there. We get the high caliber, which at 43,000 damage for a high cal is, I think it may be the lowest high cal damage amount I've ever done, but I'll absolutely take it. But Omaha definitely engaging our teammates. We probably should have switched over to HE, because yeah, we're not doing the huge damage. We do land a torp on the Hermes there, taking it down, and with that, we do have the main capture circle, so we're about to finish off this match relatively quickly. But yeah, guys, that's the match. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments below, and as always, guys, I hope you have a great rest of your day. See ya.